Good afternoon.
You got a prepared statement you're going to read. David Moore, Dallas Morning News. Have you had a chance to look much at Philadelphia yet? And if you have, what do you see from them compared to what you were facing them twice last year?
Not far enough into it really to get to that, but just off the top, obviously, when you look at their defense, starts with their defensive line. Obviously, the secondary, you got Bird there now, so just frankly about halfway through the Washington game. Yeah, but I mean, different coordinator. I mean, it's probably more some of the things, in a prep meeting this morning, probably more some of the things they haven't done yet, so just schematically. But playing at a very high level. I know Dan, speaking with him briefly, I know he's coming in here. You could ask him more specific about it. But I mean, they're obviously playing extremely well. So, but I'm not far enough into it. I'm glad you turned the page. I'm ready to turn it too. So, is that it?
We can turn the page, or we want to go back.
Yeah, I'm here for you, Clarence.
Going back a little bit from last night, though, just talk about the offense. Jerry talked about, and Dak talked about the offense taking a step, and really looking like you guys wanted to look coming out of camp.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I think if you just look at what we've done in the first 6 games, there's a number of things, and just because of the type of games we've been in, half of our games in the first 6 games, the second halves weren't. We're in 4-minute offense in the fourth quarter, so I mean, frankly, I think it was just more getting to concepts and doing some things we just haven't done yet. So, and really just, cutting Dak loose. I mean, but the ball distribution was, we hit our average. We had 80% of our, plays were, rushes or completions. So, I mean, so that part, I think, consistent. Just had the one giveaway, the time of possession, which is important. That was a big emphasis, for us, as part of our complementary football formula. CD had a huge day, but I do like the way we're spreading the ball around, and and if you look at play calling as when you throw it, it's more aggressive. Then we were more aggressive yesterday.
Was anything born out of what you did during the bye week, or learned in the bye week from what you were earlier, or was it more just again a natural progression of the offense?
I think it's more confirmation of just say, we need to get going. We need more production from the offense, and I think a big part of that is just trusting your players and opening things up. So, we have a lot of football to play, and I just conceptually, we got some things we can, still haven't got to yet, but. I think start to to me that first trimester, you show what you think you want to be coming out of the off season, and then you start getting into variations of those concepts. So I think we're starting to hit that point.
Mike Totter with ESPN. Jordan Lewis, what are your thoughts on what he was able to do yesterday?
I thought he played very well. He's playing every snap. So I mean it's good to see him back. In that full deal, I mean, he's one of the guys just speaking, with the strength coaches and the trainers. We just did a brief run through the GPS, so and it's something you just always watch on your guys, but especially guys coming off of a major injury. So, but I thought he played well.
Don.
John Michaud, The Athletic. With Deron Bland and the not just interceptions, but the pick sixes in your career in the NFL. How do players end up getting multiple pick sixes? Is there some good fortune to it? Is it instincts? Is it film study? What do you think leads to that?
I think it's all those things. I think number one, it's got to be about opportunities. I think obviously he's a young corner, so people feel that they can still test him, and he's made them pay, and that's all part of the evolution and growth. Of DB. So, I think clearly, it was an option route and the ball was hung inside a little bit, and, he has that ability. I mean, he is, for a young player, when you see guys work their technique and fundamentals, and especially at a young age, and he carries it to Sunday, he's as good as I've seen. I mean, he really, really has a clean understanding of what he's asked to do, how to do it, but he has very, very strong fundamentals for a young player.
Saad, he's The Athletic. Mike, we're kind of seeing a lot more in the league where linebackers are kind of, getting right up all over the center to rush the passer. Obviously, Mike is doing it, but, seeing it around the league as well. Is that something a little bit newer that you're seeing around the league? Has it picked up more, and where did you guys start doing that?
Oh, I think it's really the last, I don't know how many years, but it's been going on for, I mean, it's you're seeing so much more five-man spacing fronts. So ever how you want to get to it, whether it's putting your premier rusher over the guard, over the center, but, it's really challenging the declarations of the offense, whether it's run or protection. So they're trying to single you up and, create matchups, because at the end of the day, that's what the big part of game planning is. But it's just, to me, just another variation of the five-man spacing that you're seeing a lot of.
On the flip side, when you have Tyler Biadasz obviously at center, what does it require of a center to go against, not just nose tackles are obviously bigger guys, now these athletes as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think if you go back and look at trends of personnel throughout the league, 90s, early 2000s, then the 2010s and out of 2020s, is there's more space in the game. The rule changes have created that. So you don't see the 275-pound middle linebacker. It's everybody can run. I mean, the horizontal and lateral speed and quickness is probably as high as it's ever been in the defensive front and the offensive front. So with that being said, is your center, your center has to be able to have the lateral movement to play in today's game.
Aisha Morrison, DallasCowboys.com. Coach, one of the more underappreciated parts of Dak Prescott's game, I believe, is the way that he can diagnose post-snap. You coached with Aaron Rodgers. How impressed have you been with Dak's ability to do that? And is that something that you deem as a strength of his?
Definitely. I mean, I think that's something you're always working on. It doesn't matter where you are in your career, because the other side of the ball is they have the same video, and that's a big part of the chess match. So we play every day against a defense that is very high in disguise. So I think clearly the competition going back to training camp, it's been really good for Dak and all of our quarterbacks. So, but yeah, it's obviously, we call it drop out of the sky. You see secondaries today so much more than any time I know in my league where they're holding a disguise to the snap of the ball. So it's obviously more of a challenge, and he does an excellent job of it.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Tyron Smith, just your thoughts on how close was he to playing yesterday?
I mean, it was a medical decision, so I know he's getting some treatment today. So I don't see him practicing Wednesday. Probably have a better idea on Thursday.
How did Richards do? Obviously you lost Chuma, but how did he do?
I mean, he did okay. I mean, it's interesting because I thought our young players, and definitely he's one of them, they've really taken a step up the last couple of weeks because we've made a big deal of it in our meetings. And but that fourth quarter, a number of those guys got a chance to play, and we had some mistakes. So I want to see those guys take what they're doing during the week and have it show up on Sunday, because I mean that's a great opportunity for your young players to get in there in the fourth quarter and play, because that's an experience that they're going to have to draw from, because statistically there's a good chance we'll be playing here in December. So that's just something that I've always tried to emphasize, and Sunday's a great example of that.
Patrick.
Hey Mike, Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. You mentioned when it comes to the offense clicking more so than not on yesterday, that it was more concepts being added, but you guys are really starting to kind of find your groove in the red zone as well. When you go back and you look at some of those plays like Dak to Jake Ferguson, those are plays that we've kind of seen previously, but they just didn't connect. From a coaching standpoint, what do you feel like is starting to click in the red zone?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you go back and look at some of the throws that were there, Jake's throws very similar to what Scooney had 4 weeks ago. So yeah, I mean that's what red zone football is. I mean it's throwing it on time, putting it in a spot where only your guy can catch it, and so and I just think like anything. I mean we had a good day in red zone, but we felt like we left 2 layups out there too. So I mean it's just why you just keep working. You keep working and keep attacking.
Joe.
Joe White, Lone Star Live. Dak mentioned that Brandon Cooks gave a suggestion that ultimately turned into his hitch-and-go touchdown catch. I guess, as a play caller, how much do you value in-game feedback from players?
I mean, I really value it. I'm trying not to laugh because it's amazing you don't hear about the suggestions that don't work. So, but No, it's great communication on Brandon's part. Something he actually was talking about in the last game, and the way he set it up is very, very instinctive, very smart, and that was well done. But yeah, he definitely gave me that suggestion.
Two things. How was Dak playing? He said he was in the zone. He felt like he was in sync right now. You know, because I know Jersey's had his best 2 games these past 2 weeks.
I thought he played. I thought he's put together 2 really good games. Yeah, and this is going to be a big contest on the road. So as you know, these games on the road are always a little tougher. Outside. So we're preparing to take that step, but just keep stacking. So I think he's put together. We're starting to look the way we want to look on offense.
Speaking of this week, do you take anything from the build-up to the 49ers game as a lesson for this week for your team? I know Jared didn't want to talk about the 49ers game because he didn't want to poke the bear because he think he learned his lesson. I don't know, what's your mindset on the team's approach to, I know there's going to be a lot of media hype for this game.
I mean, when is there not media hype around our team? So, yeah, I'm not I did not diagnose the week of the 49er game as far as, how we dealt with the media. I think our football team, has to deal with this all the time. So, the thing I'm going to build off of is really from last week, from start to finish. From when the day they came back on Monday, we had the extra time. What did we do with the extra time? Frankly, across the hall, there's a couple things that came out of the across the hall that were helpful in this game plan. So, that's what I'm all about. So today, we had a chance to evaluate the game. Players got in here. So much of what we do is routine, and making sure we're checking boxes, hitting targets, and that's really where my focus is on. I mean, we have history with this team. Played them twice last year, and just really we got to dive into who they are today. Not last year. So I'm not really concerned about the media hype. It's part of being a Dallas Cowboy, frankly.
Not necessarily media, media, but the way the team had put a lot into that game, even not just the media, but Dak talked about it. People talked about it being a measure stick.
I think we gave you an honest answer to your questions, but I know I even did, but it's still one game. I mean, and it's we need to go in there and win a division game because these division games are really like a game and a half in some ways. Then that's. Your division games are always your most important game, and they're always your hardest games. In every division I've ever been in the league, the AFC West, the NFC North, those are your toughest games, and this is going to be a tough game, and it's a tough game. We need to prepare to go win.
That's why your quarterback embraced it last night. He
Honey Bear or something? Something like that. Yeah, I heard half of it or something. I got a best piece of it. So he likes honey or something. Yeah. Poking the bear.
Pour honey on me. I'm ready to go.
Follow that, Scott.
Yeah.
I'll try to follow that. Speaking of, what do you make of the Niners being 0-3 since they beat you? Is there anything in this league that surprises you anymore?
I don't feel like being. No, I don't. I think it's our league. I mean, it's a great example of the National Football League. It's why you line up. I mean, you see it every week. It's so competitive. Yeah, I just think it's a great example of, just why you got to take them one at a time.
Michael Galkin, Dallas Morning News. On the Jake Ferguson touchdown, it was pretty similar in terms of seam route in the end zone to the one that Schoonmaker wasn't able to convert. How big was it for your offense, for your tight end room, to be able to convert on that sort of play?
I mean, definitely, but we run those plays all the time. So I mean, I know practice is different than the games, but yeah, I mean, it's obviously we have confidence because we're going to call those plays, and so yeah, and that's to me that's what red zone execution has to look like. I mean, you have to beat tight coverage down there, and you got to attack tight windows and throw your guys open. So yeah, no, I think it really kind of falls in line with the question earlier. We took a step, and that's a good example of taking a step.
Like you were just talking about the division games and being like a game and a half and always your toughest games. Green Bay with Rodgers and here with Dak, you had a quarterback who has an outstanding record against the rest of the division. How does that help you going into these division games when you have that body of work by the quarterback in place, just as far as whether it's what you implement, just mentally?
Yeah, yes, I think it's very helpful. I think clearly, the expectation of, what's it going to be like to play in, Sunday night football in Philadelphia. I don't know if we haven't played during the daytime since I've been here. So, I mean, that's good to have that experience, because you go in there, it is a unique place to play. And and we look forward to it. So so that's part of it. But, schematically, and these players know each other. I mean, some of these guys train together in the off season too. So, I think all that is helpful.
What makes Philadelphia a unique place to play?
Just friendly people, just.
Nick Harris, DallasCowboys.com. You guys more than tripled your usual output in utilizing motion before the snap. Would you call that a big reason why the passing offense had its best night all season?
No, I don't think it works like that. I think, motion is important. I think that you got to go further than that. Did you get the reaction that you're looking for? What did you think of the reaction of the motion? So, but yeah, I think like anything, it really kind of falls in line with I was talking about earlier. We're getting to things that we just quite haven't gotten to yet, and and I think when you do get to this point in the year, you start getting into the variations of those things. So.
Trade deadline's tomorrow. Do you go in? You had a funny comment when you were in Green Bay about what the trade deadline was like.
Yeah, the worst part about that was being serious. No, we had a personnel meeting today, so it's that's all I got to say.
Do you think you guys need anything? Do you?
See, I'm the wrong person to ask that because I'm about the development of the men in the building. I just strongly believe in that. I'm not blind to what goes on, or but yeah, I'm not sitting here with my fingers crossed, hoping that we trade for somebody. That's not my feeling. This is my personal feeling. Not at all. I believe in the men we have in the locker room.
All righty, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.